President Bongbong Marcos blamed the bridge's, quote, poor design for the February 27 accident that injured several people. The chief executive particularly called out the non-use of steel cables and the bridge's load limit. But one of its designers, engineer Albert Canete, insists there is nothing wrong with his concept for the structure.
Pero mahirap ko siyang kontrahin, pero hindi siya bridge expert. Dapat to imbestigahan. Hindi dapat nagbibigay ng mga statement hanggat walang kompletong engineering, forensic engineering investigation.
Canete says he designed the bridge to withstand the weight of 2 trucks passing through it at the same time.
Yan, 2 lanes. Dinisign ko yan ng 2 truck sabay. Kahit 2 truck na sabay, basta 27 tons lang, 54 tons, hindi niya kayang pabagsakin yung tulay.
For his part, the contractor says the bridge went through proper evaluation and was approved by the DPWH. Last night in our interview with DPWH Secretary Manny Bonoan, he said that no tests were done on the bridge.
May quality yun, quality. Meron mga contest niya. So, hindi ka makakalusyon na maglagay ka dyan wala. Wala, hindi dumaan siya.
Well, of course, we still have more questions for Engineer Albert Canete, so let's bring him in. Magandang gabi po sa inyo, Engineer. Welcome to the big story.
Hey, good evening, ladies. Very privileged to be here in your program.
Thank you. You are standing by your design. You're saying there's no flaw, correct, sir?
Yes, because we're following a bridge code. But let me just make a brief rundown of the construction history, design and construction history. This bridge was designed way back in 2012, 2013, when I was commissioned to do the initial design. And at that time, we were using the NSCP Volume 2 Bridges 1997 code. The initial design was for 12 60-meter arch spans with a total length of 720 meters. And the construction started 2014. And as reported, it was completed in February this year, 2025. Way back then, there's the initial 8 arch spans out of the 12 spans were constructed based on this old code, previous code, with the initial funding of about 400 plus million. The initial estimate for budget for the 12 spans was 800 plus million at that time. However, in 2015, the new code came in, which was the DPWH DTCS Volume 5 bridges with higher vehicle loads and earthquake loads. And there was a department order that this will be implemented nationwide, 2017, by everybody.
If I may interrupt, Engineer,
Yes.
this was the DPWH Secretary was Singson? No. Yes.
2012.
2012, yes.
Under President Aquino.
Babe Singson, Secretary Babe
Yes,
Singson.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Was there any? We'll let you continue your timeline. But was there supposed to be Japanese funding for the bridge, but decision was made not to go with local designers instead and contractors?
I have to clarify that I'm connected with a private consulting firm. I'm outside of DPWH.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm not privy to all this information.
So, kumbaga, engineer, you got wind of this project. Kumbaga, syempre dumating sa firm ninyo, di ba? 2012 na.
Yeah,
Kayo kinontrata.
I was hired by a consulting firm to do the design.
Okay.
And are there, again, before you continue your timeline, this consulting firm is part of a consortium of 3.
I believe so. Maybe. Yeah, I believe so.
All right. Sige po.
So in 2017, this new code was implemented. DPWH commissioned another consulting firm, I think in 2018, to upgrade the design.
Bakit
So,
hindi kayo? Bakit hindi kayo?
Well,
If
I
you
guess
were-
it was another bidding or something. And then another consulting firm won that bidding.
Okay.
Because, yeah, it's another design project. And so I was no longer involved. But the task of the new designer is to upgrade my original design to the 2015 code. The bridge is more than 1 kilometer long. And the rest of the bridge was completed using conventional pre-stressed bridges. The remaining 4 arch spans and the pre-stressed spans were designed based on the new DPWH bridge code. The initial 8 arch spans that were already constructed by that time were redesigned and retrofitted. So there's always this thing coming out in the news. Why it's still new, pero bakit ni-retrofit? Inabutan siya ng bagong code na obsolete bigla yung design ko.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a question. Do you still have more of the timeline, engineer, or does the timeline, at least with
Yung
regard to your
yung
work,
last
it
na
ends there?
The last na is, as per DPWH statements by the secretary, the bridge project was not yet accepted.
Yes.
And so, as sabi niya, load testing works will still have to be done.
No
And
turnover
then,
yet.
therefore, only light vehicles are allowed at the bridge.
Okay.
Okay.
I have a question about the design, Engineer Albert. No, I'm curious. This is a tied arch bridge. Am I right? First of all,
Yes.
because I'm not an engineer.
Tied.
Why did you choose to design it in that way? I mean, maraming types of bridges. Pag ginugal mo, types of bridges,
Correct.
di ba?
Correct.
Why did you choose this?
We have, actually, they were describing, the president was describing bakit walang cables. He was referring to a cable-stayed bridge. And although he was, again, mentioning that it was suspension bridge, which is another type of, but those are, I have, for example, suspension bridge is Magapit Bridge in Lalo, which is 250 meters. And then I have designed a cable-stayed bridge in Circulo Verde for Ortigas. That's 135 meters. This one are 60 meter spans, very short. So, perfect for this would be a tied arch. And the tied arch, the arches, I took advantage of the efficient arch form that reduces, has a very strong capacity, and therefore it came out that my bridge design was much cheaper than conventional.
Engineer, I have to ask po, no, which part of the bridge collapsed? Was it your design or yung na-retrofit po?
Yung na-retrofit. But actually, the trucks came from Cabagan side. So they started with span 12 and then up to span 4, no incident. But suddenly in span 3, going to Cabagan side, the span collapsed.
And engineer,
Something went wrong with span 3. But the other 9 spans, they're okay.
Okay,
Which
so
are
you're
your
talking
designs?
about the 3 stress spans, di ba? Yung 3 stress spans, yun yung part ng retrofitting which they did like in the latter part, no, during the Duterte administration, which is natamaan na nung bagong code, right?
No,
So,
the eight span.
The
The
eight
8 arch spans were retrofitted.
Uh-huh.
So that's span 1 up to span 8.
okay. And the collapse
And then-
was in span
3.
Three.
Span 3.
Okay.
Well, engineer, you have the president blaming not just the design plan, but also the budget cut. Ang original budget po para sa bridge was 1.8 billion pesos, but it was reduced to under 1 billion. Gaano ka laki po ba nung implication nun, engineer? I mean, with that reduced budget, were they setting themselves up for disaster? Dahil nga, engineer,
Sorry,
Sorry.
apologies. I think we can hear that
there's a
must be
convergence
Gretchen.
of audio.
We're hearing Rome. Pasensya
Okay.
na po,
Sorry,
engineer.
carry on, engineer.
I'm very proud kasi of my expertise as a bridge designer. Now, I come up with very economic design. So it's very efficient. The arts is very efficient. So that's probably the reason why the cost really went down. Because arts bridges are 20 to 30% cheaper than conventional.
Okay. When because of the new code, you said there was a retrofit in 2018, tama po, no?
Thereabouts,
Oo.
2018,
Ano po yung
2019.
bagong load bearing? What load can that bridge bear? Or what did the new rules say? 'Di ba 42
Now,
po ang standard?
Yung based on this, yung 2016 na department order nagpalabas, the DPWH came out with a department order prescribing load limits for 6-wheeler, 10-wheeler, and 18-wheeler trucks.
Okay.
For 10-wheeler trucks, it's 27 tons, which is very similar to the truck that caused the collapse of the span tree.
Okay.
Now, I was pointing out in that video late earlier na kahit doble mo yung 27 tons because it's a two-lane, maging 54 tons, okay
Oo.
pa siya.
Pero
But
yung- Exagerado
what was reported
po.
by Region 2, 102 tons daw siya.
Okay. Exagerado ba yun? Parang
Parang,
we asked ChatGPT kasi po. I can't imagine kasi ang 100 tons. Blue Whale is one
Comparison.
Yes.
comparison
Yes.
or 757 Boeing plane.
Yes.
So,
Precisely.
exagerado ho ba yung figure na 100 na sinasabi sa publiko or
Or multiple trucks ito kasi yung pagkakaintindi
Hindi,
rin sa report, no?
no.
Tatlo daw yung truck. Tatlong mabibigat na dump truck.
With rocks. Oh,
There was a report in 2021 that's 4 years back na yung recorded sa weighing station ng were already 80-90 tons.
wow.
The new generations of trucks coming out are much powerful, much stronger. That the axle loads
So the codes are
weights of the
outdated.
trucks they just keep on increasing.
Engineer,
Yes.
the codes are outdated, meaning
Yes,
our
yes,
bridges
yes,
will
I agree.
collapse. with
That's what
these-
that's
I
what
agree.
you were saying earlier at our sister program Story ko, no? Sinabi niyo nga na wag i-legislate itong mga codes kasi mahuhuli tayo dun sa advancement sa truck technology and weight bearing ng
Correct.
axle. So do you think this is a wake up call, no, for all engineers,
Yes.
structural
Yes.
inspectors and the government na parang we have to keep updating our code, and would you suggest by how often?
In buildings kasi we just follow what is recommended, whatever is the latest code. In the code, unfortunately we are following the American codes, and implementation of vehicle weights and axle loads in the US is very strictly implemented. But in here we're seeing these new trucks that are even more powerful. So the designer will have to take into consideration the overload. I actually published a book. My fourth book is about this design of bridge superstructures. In chapter 1 of that book, I devoted one section for that, for overloading. And the designer must be aware na of the degree of overloading in this country.
All right, but should then these trucks, should they be penalized? I mean, for obviously they know that they're beyond what a bridge can bear?
Legally, yes, because the load limits are posted in the bridge. But actually, as time goes on, they become unrealistic, and the truckers will simply disregard the load limits. That's the problem, because they know that their trucks are much more powerful and can carry. And I think it's cost considerations for the truckers already.
Okay. So in short,
in one trip they can transmit 80 tons of payload.
So in short, no, punot dulo nito, tama nga si Secretary Bunuan, it's really the overloading of these super
Yes,
trucks,
it's
new generation.
overloading. Super, yeah.
Alright.
You cannot stop the progress of science.
We need to catch up. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Engineer
Yeah.
Albert Canete.